Welcome to Internet Quality Academy. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction. In today's video, I will also want to discuss about a very important topics about the concrete durability. Now, formwork is an integral part of the concrete. Without the formwork, we cannot do the concrete. But is it okay to remove the formwork before the stipulated time? Does it impact it on the strength? Does it impact it on the durability? So today's video is all about that, why early formwork is impacted on the durability of the concrete. So stay tuned until the end to get the full information. And if you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So without wasting a time, let's jump into the subject. That is why early formwork removal impacts durability. So formwork is an integral part of the concrete. Concrete is the backbone of the modern day structure, modern day skyscraper, or any projects. Without the concrete, it is impossible to do that one. And to do the concrete, the formwork is foremost and essential. Without the formwork, we cannot do the concrete. At the same time, we need to remove the formwork in order to get the concrete. If we do not remove the concrete, sorry, if we do not remove the formwork, it will be in a state, but it will not give that aesthetic views and it will be no use. So it is also recommended to remove the formwork. So what is the removal time and why early formwork removal impact the durability? So first we need to know that role of formwork in the concrete, that we all knows that what is formwork and what is the purpose of the formwork. So what is the formwork? It is a temporary mold to shape and support concrete. So whenever we are doing the concrete is an elastic for stage and it is flowing. So if we are not hold it by the formwork, it will not give the desired shape and the strength. So that is why formwork is the temporary mold or the shape to support the concrete. And what is the purpose of the formwork? Support the concrete until it gets enough strength. That is a vital point, that until and unless that the concrete is not getting the desired strength, we cannot remove the formwork. If we remove, then again the concrete deflection will happen and again it will impact the durability. So aids in curing by retaining moisture. So whenever the formwork is there, the moisture loss from the concrete is less, so it is helping the curing process also. So that is why the formwork is very much important. But not only the formwork, we have shuttering, we have staging, we have centering. So these are all, it's important for the concrete durability. But what is formwork, what is staging, what is shuttering, I have made a detailed video, link is there or in the description, please check, you will get the full information. So this is the formwork and what is the role of formwork on the concrete. Now, consequence of early formwork removal. Now that we understand that there is a minimum time period and there is a minimum strength to achieve the concrete in order to remove the formwork. If it is not achieved or that minimum period of time is not given, what will happen? That is the consequence of early formwork removal. So one thing is strength development. If we remove the formwork before the time or the early time, so what will happen? It may not be that much of strength gain to take that load of the concrete itself. So it will happen, what will happen if we remove the concrete, then concrete can deteriorate, so the strength will not develop. Then micro cracking, it is very much important that stress or load causes cracks due to insufficient strength. So if the concrete is not getting that much of strength, I will come later that whatever the strength is required to remove the concrete in as per IS 450 so 6, so that strength has to be developed before the removal of the concrete. So if it is not, then internal stress will develop and then the micro cracking will generate. So inadequate curing, that is also another part. Then accelerated moisture loss leads to reduced hydrations and durability. So if we remove the concrete early time, so sudden evaporation loss will happen. So if it is happen, what will happen? Inside the concrete there will voids will creates, and even the moisture is lost, there is a less amount of water inside the concrete to do the chemical reaction with the cement, that is the hydration of cement. So if it is not fully hydrated, what will happen again, the strength and the durability will be concerned. Why? Because if the strength is not developed, that there will be a problem in the structural stability. At the same time, when this moisture will lose, there will be a cracks generated on the surface, and from these cracks what will happen, the sulfate chloride and sulfate ion, chloride ion, carbon dioxide, that will penetrate inside the concrete. And if it is penetrate, what will happen again, this will react with the concrete and the reinforcement, and reinforcement corrosion and concrete cracking, and everything will happen. So what will happen, it will again the durability concern. So that is why it is impacted the durability. So in order to get the durability, it is required to keep the formwork as per the requirement. But now, what is the factor affecting the durability of the concrete? I have made a detailed video. Link is there or in the description. Please check, you will get the full information. Then surface damage, it can happen that mentioned spalling, chipping, and the scaling can happen for immature concrete. So when the concrete is not get that much of strength, so when you are removing the concrete, then the spalling, chipping, and cracking can scaling can happen. So then environmental exposure, what is that? Environmental exposure such as rain, wind, and temperature changes weakens concrete prematurely. So in the mass concrete, what is happening, the core area heat is more generating, and the surface area is not generating that much heat. So that is why IS 16700 has given the guidelines that the core area maximum temperature can be 70 degree, and the thermal gradient in between the core and the surface should be 20 degree maximum. If it is not, what will happen, thermal, due to the thermal gradient, the loss of heat will happen, again the thermal crack will generate. So that is recommended that whenever do at the mass concrete, you need to retain the formwork until unless the thermal gradient is coming to the normal ranges. So it will, if we remove that one, suddenly there will be a heat loss and heat transfer from the core to the surface and then to the environment, then the thermal cracks will generate. So what is mass concrete and what is the thermal gradients and what is the temperature control and monitoring? I have made a detailed video. Link is there or in the description. Please check, you will get the full information. But as of now, if we remove formwork early, then this is a problem with the mass concrete and the environmental exposure conditions. Then thermal gradient, as I already discussed, that if there is a thermal gradient, then again there will be cracks happen. And if there is a heavy wind, there is a rain, this will also impacted the concrete strength and the durability. That is why it is very much important to retain the formwork as per the stipulated time mentioned in the as per IS 456. Now, what is the stipulated time? What is the minimum time as per IS 456? Let's check that one also. What is the standard and guidelines is given in the IS 456? Let me zoom in this one. So now it is clear. So where it is mentioned, it is IS 456 amendment number 5, IS 456 in the guidelines. It given the table in the clause 11.3.1. Here is a table that it is showing that it is a type of formwork. Here is the minimum period before striking the formwork. So what is the for concrete made using OPC, and here for concrete makes using other than OPC or using mineral admixture. Now nowadays we are using not only the OPC, we are using PPC cement, we are using GGBS, fly ash, that is all the mineral admixture. So IS 456 has categorized that what type of concrete or what type of cement you are using in the concrete. Accordingly, it will change the minimum periods of the formwork retention. So what is the minimum time of the formwork retention or the for before formwork removal? If it is a vertical formwork, that is column, walls, and beams, that is 16 to 24 hours. Here it is also 16 to 24 hours. Here the soffit of the formwork of two slabs, and what is saying, the formwork can be removed but props to be refixed immediately after removal of the formwork. It is a very important and the very special thing. That is why that we can remove the formwork, but immediately we need to refix the props so that the load can be carried out by the props. So what is the minimum period for that? If it is using only OPC, that is 3 days. But if it is using OPC plus GGBS or something else, that will be the 7 days. Then soffit of formworks of beams, same, the props to be refixed. Here it is 7 days, but here it is 10 days. Now, props to slabs, spanning up to 4 meter and spanning up now over 4.5 meter. Here it is 7 days, but if it is OPC plus something, 10 days. And over 4.5 meter, it is 14 days, 14 days. And then props to beams and arches. So whatever the props we have refixes, that props we need to keep in position up to 14 days if it is the spannings up to 6 meter in the case of beams and arches, and 14 days in case of OPC plus GGBS or fly ash. But if it is spanning over 5 meter to 6 meter, it is recommending that 21 days we need to keep the keep the props in position in order to get the right kind of concrete or that concrete strength and the durability, so there will be no deflections. So it is the as guidelines of IS 456, but also IS 456 has given another guidelines. Let's see what is saying. See, it is saying in case of use cements other than OPC, that means these column of use of mineral admixture like fly ash and slag in lieu of the minimum period specified in 11.3.13 column 3, that is column 3. Stripping of formwork may be done in accordance with the previous provision of column 1.3 column 2. This provide concrete cubes testing is done to ensure that the following minimum strength is developed. So if we are using OPC plus other than cement, that means the mineral admixture, then this column can be used, but you need to ensure that the minimum strength has specified. So what is that criteria? If it is in 3 days, that means you need to ensure that 45% of strength has developed. So if it is for M40, that means M40, so it's a 45%, that is a 20 18 it's M40, 18 MPa has to achieve in 3 days. If it is not, that means we cannot remove the concrete. So again, if it is 7 days, it is saying 60% has to achieve the concrete. If it is 20, that means 60% is 12 MPa. The minimum strength of the cube on that day should be 12, so that you can remove the formwork. And if it is the 14 days, then 85% has to achieve. So these two has given the guidelines clearly in IS 456, that what will be the minimum time period and what will be the strength required before removing the formwork. We need to stick into this, otherwise our concrete durability will be a concern. There will be deflection, there will be strength development generate will not generate, then there will be thermal crack, then will be the shrinkage crack, there will be moisture loss. These are all impacted the durability. So these are the standard guidelines. I have already discussed consequence. Now what is the best practice to avoid issues? So there is some practice we need to follow in order to make the our concrete durable and the strength. So what proper timing of formwork removal, so that is to be ensured before removing the formwork, that minimum period has achieved and also the strength of the cube has been achieved as per the guidelines. Then testing compressive strength I'll discuss. Then effective curing practice. It is very much important that whenever we are removing the formwork, immediately we need to start the curing. So what is my curing procedure? That has to establish before. And what is my curing monitoring procedure? That also has to establish, and accordingly we need to monitor the curing, so that accordingly we can achieve the concrete strength and the durability. If there is a curing issues, again the durability will be a problem. Then monitoring environmental conditions. So we need to ensure there is a heavy wind, we need to cover the concrete. If it's the heavy rain, we need to protect. And if the snow or frost, that is also we need to protect our concrete. So we need to take care of also the what is the environmental condition, and accordingly we need to protect our concrete. So these are the best practice to avoid issues. And these are all for today's about the why early formwork removal is impacted durability. I hope you find it useful, and if you find it useful, it is my request to kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon, so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notifications. And I'm waiting for your valuable comments, so that from your valuable comment, everybody will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. Thank you once again for watching me.